Welcome to the second episode of this weekly video journal thing I'm doing, talking about my knitting and my spinning and dyeing and all sorts of other things. Last week I started this intro and I said I'm going to share with you all these crafty things and also talk about some shows that I'm watching, and then I completely forgot. So this week, I will try my hardest to remember. I'm actually going to talk about a couple non-crafty things this week, so it should be fun. Let's get started. Let's do finished objects first. I did finish one big shawl. Look at how huge it is! It was not this big when I was knitting it, but after I blocked it, stretching out all these drop stitches made it really, really big. So, can you see the whole thing? All the different colors. Oof. I actually didn't get to the end of the ball. So there's supposed to be some dark blue at the end of the teal gradient, but I just didn't get there. Ow. I got a new ball winder and it's right next to me, so I'm gonna try not to do that again. So yeah, this looks really good when you wear it. I found that you kind of have to do like this double cross thing in the back. This way? No, this way. That way the colors stay together. Like this, kind of, something like that. So yeah, I love it. And I feel like it's gonna be really warm because all the drop stitches kind of like do this like stucky thing, compressed-y thing. And so there's a lot of air pockets and it's just, it's gonna be great. If it ever gets cold, because summer is about to get here and it's gonna be hot as heck. So yeah, that's a finished object. It looks beautiful and it's really soft and very squishy. And my other finished object, I actually finished it a long time ago. It's story time now. So about, I would say 10, no, not quite 10, maybe 8 years ago, I decided that I was going to become a real knitter and knit a sweater. I'm just kidding. You can be a knitter knitting whatever you want. You don't have to knit a sweater or a shawl or socks to become a real knitter. But in my mind, I thought, you know, I really need to make a garment sized thing. So I bought some Swish on Knit Picks. Swish had just come out, so that gives you kind of an idea of how old this project is. I bought some Swish. I looked around for patterns and I didn't see anything that I really liked. So I ended up buying the book where it's a bunch of like pattern recipes. I think it's like top-down sweater patterns or something. So I picked the raglan sleeve one and I just followed the really basic instructions and I made this sweater. Isn't this? It's very plain. It's just a knit rib collar with cuffs and the bottom. So it's just really basic. The collar is really wide, which I can't decide whether I like or not. Either way, I really loved it. And then for the last 5 years, I couldn't find it. It just like somehow disappeared from my life. I must have tucked it away in like a winter clothes storage bin and never saw the light of day again. So I've just been thinking, you know what, maybe I had a like donation spring cleaning frenzy one day and decided that this sweater was not worth the space in my life anymore and I decided to get rid of it. You know, who knows? It happens, right? So I just thought it was lost to the nether, but I found it. I was doing some more spring cleaning and it was in a box somewhere along with a bunch of other clothes that I didn't want anymore. So I pulled the sweater out and then I'm donating the rest. So yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to find the sweater again. Not because I particularly like it, like the design or the color or anything like that. It's just that it was the first, you know? And when it's your first, it has a little bit of sentimental value. So yeah, I'm happy. So that's pretty much all I have for finished objects. I need to cast on something. Oh, you know what? I totally did cast on something. Let me go get it really quick. Before I started the video, I went around the house gathering all of the things that I wanted to show and tell in this video, and I thought I got everything, but I forgot. So that's the back side. Here is a little log cabin. Take this off for now. Log cabin thing I'm making. It's looking very lumpy right now, but I think after I give it a little bit of a soak, it'll be better. So this yarn I dyed and spun a while ago, and I really like the colors. It's chain plied, so all of the color changes stay together. And I figured it probably would make a really cute log cabin type of design. And also, at first I was like, maybe I'll make curtains. And then I looked around and I tried a couple different stitches, like a couple different mesh stitches, and I didn't really like the process of making it. And so I thought, you know, let's just do something really simple, some double crochet log cabin. So for those of you who aren't familiar, log cabin is basically you you crochet the center square, and then you crochet a center square next to it that's the same size, and then you crochet another piece, this piece right here, that's the same size as these two combined, and then you just kind of go around and you build this pattern. And so far, it's about time for me to start a new section, and I'm not sure what this will end up being. I do this a lot. Like, a lot of my projects are, you know, I'm just gonna start something, and if it becomes something, great. If it doesn't, then it's okay. I feel like this yarn, it's like there's not quite enough for me to do anything with it. So I'm going to make this log cabin, let's call it a placemat, or a table topper, a square doily, whatever. So we'll see how big it gets, but I'm planning to put it on a surface. Maybe the table in the foyer, who knows? But yeah, it's fun. I love how the colors are turning out. And so that's as far as crochet goes, and I'm gonna start making a pair of socks with these. These are actually listed on Facebook right now for sale, but nobody seems to like them. So I've decided I'm going to adopt them myself, and I'm going to make a pair of socks. And I dug out my circulars, my fixed circulars. I think these are long enough to do magic loop 2 at a time, but I'm not sure. So, but I feel like I've done that before, so it should work. They just don't seem like they're very long. So yeah, I'll be casting on after I finish recording this video. That's as far as I have for crafty whips. I have one very long-term whip that I picked up from Trader Joe's, and I'm so happy to show you guys my little orchid. Look how tiny this thing is, and pretty. Look, yeah, I don't know if it'll zoom properly, but so I've been wanting orchids for a really long time. I worked in an office. It was a really small office. I think there were like 5 of us total, and we all were really close. And the boss, the CEO, she had orchids, and she was a very elegant, classy lady who built her business from the ground up, and she was just very aspirational for me at the time. And she had orchids, and one of our duties on Fridays was to kind of give the office a good clean, dust everything off, wipe down all the surfaces, blah blah blah. And it was really nice. It was the last thing we did before we went home on Fridays, so it was a time to chill out, socialize. And one of the duties was to water her orchids, and I really liked that it was a plant that had such low maintenance. Like, all you had to do was soak these or run water through them for a couple minutes, and then they were set to go. So ever since then, and I had that job back in, I don't know, 2006. So ever since then, I wanted orchids, and I've always been really afraid because I didn't want to kill them, and then they also, anyway, so I went to Trader Joe's on Friday, and while husband was getting all the things that we needed to get, I was just stuck in the flower section that's at the very beginning. At first I was looking at succulents, and I picked up a really pretty, like the flower looking succulent, and I'm like, succulents are easy. You don't really have to do anything with them, and they just survive. And then I walked over to the orchid section, and I always look at the orchids. There's the big ones, and so many flowers, and so pretty, and so many different colors. And then right next to them, the big ones, there were these small ones. And I'm like, I could do small orchids. How hard could it be, right? Then they're so small. So I bought this one. It's got, I think, it's got 3 flowers. It had 3 flowers when I got it. And then this little flower is just starting to open up. And it's opening up just a little bit more every day. And then it's got a couple buds on it that hopefully will open someday. Right now I just have it kind of like hanging out in this pot that has no medium in it. And I just kind of soak it every day so it has a little bit of water. But I have some materials coming later this week, and I'm really excited. So that is my other thing. So yeah, that's crafty stuff. I guess orchids are considered crafty, gardening crafty. I have a colorway in my brain that's kind of based on orchid colors. So I have some swatching I need to do. I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, as far as what I've been watching, me and Hank, my husband, we watch a lot of anime. And recently we've been watching, the main like blockbusters right now, Jujutsu Kaisen, the spider one. I can't remember what the full title is because these isekai flavor animes have these long names that nobody ever remembers. The spider one, and then there is I've been hunting slimes and now I'm max level, something like that. So we watch a lot of isekai because Hank loves those. And sometimes they're pretty good. And sometimes he lets me pick what we watch next. And I really like what I call subject matter animes. So animes like sports animes, I would consider under this broad category of subject matter animes. So Haikyuu, which was a volleyball anime, was really good. And what was another one we watched recently? Tsurune, which was a Kyudo anime. Kyudo is the art of shooting a bow, so Japanese archery. That one was really good. And of course there's Yuri on Ice, which is a sports anime about ice skating, which I love. Everybody loves that one. There was another one that was ballroom dancing, but we didn't really, that one was okay. It was not, it was too tropey, too formulaic for us to really enjoy. And this new one that we're watching, the one that I really wanted to talk about last week and I totally forgot, is called These Snow White Notes. And it's a Japanese shamisen anime. So a shamisen is a Japanese traditional stringed instrument. It's kind of like the banjo. Granted, I am not a music person, so I don't know if that comparison is correct, but it's kind of got that same shape-ish, where it's the I don't even know what they're called, but the guitar part, like the round part, is one circular round thing, and it has a really long neck, and you pluck it to make sounds. And so the shamisen is I think a very iconic Japanese instrument. So when I saw it on Crunchyroll, I was like, oh, you know what? We definitely have to give this a shot. Even if it's like a tropey, formulaic type of anime, it's just fun to like learn more about the instrument. So we started watching it, and what I love about this one is that it's not formulaic. It doesn't have all of the tropes. It does have the we're gonna start a high school club trope part of it, but it happens in a very organic manner. So I really enjoy it, and I hope you guys will check it out. It's on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but that is it. And that's as far as anime goes. I've been watching the crap out of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I think after watching The Next Generation in its entirety, I was very starved for more Star Trek, so I hopped into Deep Space Nine. It was kind of weird in the beginning, going from like a starship TV show to a space station TV show, but I got used to it pretty quick. And I really like how it's in one locale, and it gives the show space to develop characters, to have recurring characters, to develop the relationships between the characters. So if you're into science fiction and you haven't watched Deep Space Nine, I would highly recommend it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else going on. I have a bunch of yarn to dye. This is one of the blanks that I'm dyeing today. I have to actually knit another blank so I can get that going as well. And I dyed some yarn. I dyed some yarn that I thrifted out of a sweater many years ago. And I decided I'm just going to use some of these leftover dyes, dunk it in the dye bath, and then heat set it in the oven. I haven't done heat setting in the oven before, so it was kind of an experiment just to see how it goes, and it turned out pretty well. I think I would definitely do oven heat setting again. The problem was this particular color, true turquoise, the turquoise color molecule, what I've heard is that it's a very large color molecule. So it takes way more time to bind, and I feel like I haven't figured out exactly how to do it correctly. Also, I'm impatient. What I should have done yesterday was to take it out of the oven and just let it cool, let it set, let it do its thing, and then leave it overnight and then come back to it in the morning. But no, what did I do? I poked it in the late evening, and I was like, you know what? This is sufficiently cooled. This is fine. And I pulled it out, and the dye bath was clear, so I pulled it out. I dunked it in some water with soap, and it just started bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and I'm like, okay, nope, it's not set. Why did I do this to myself? I should have just left it inside and let it chill out overnight so that all the molecules could get to know each other and hang out and be friends. But no, I had to take it out and ruin their party. So in an effort to stop the bleeding, I stuck it back in the dye bath, or I stuck it back in a bucket with cold water and vinegar, and I just left it overnight. And this morning it seemed to not bleed as much, but at this point it's not really yarn that it was an experiment to start with. The yarn is not very valuable, so I just took it out and I rinsed it to a point where it was mostly clear, and I decided I'm done. Learn my lesson, just leave it alone, let it do its thing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week with another video, and have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.